Okay, so let's jump into this deep dive today.
Okay.
We're going to be taking a look at this YouTube video I found super interesting.
Okay.
It's called Luke Belmar, How to Spend Money Wisely.
Okay.
And it's from the channel Capital Club LB.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's all about, like, how to achieve financial success.
Yeah.
But I think he has, like, a really different perspective on it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm excited to kind of, like, unpack it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, so one of the first things that really, like, jumped out at me
Uh-huh.
was this whole idea of, like, reverse narratives.
Okay.
And basically what he's saying is, like, to get different results,
Yeah.
you have to do, like, the opposite of what most people are doing.
Interesting.
Right. Like, especially when it comes to spending.
Uh-huh.
So have you ever thought about success like that?
I mean, yeah, sometimes, like,
Yeah.
you gotta go against the grain
Be
to
right.
see success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, what are some examples that come to mind for you? Well, I mean, he talks about it in terms of spending habits.
Okay.
And, like, he encourages us to really analyze, like, how are successful people spending their money?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And, like, you can really glean a lot from that.
Like, how so?
Like, what can you learn by seeing where others invest their money?
Right. Like, instead of just focusing on, like, what we shouldn't be doing,
Exactly.
we can kind of, like, look at, like, what are these people who have achieved it?
Yeah.
What are they actually doing?
Yeah. And not just assuming, like, oh, they got lucky or
Right. Or,
they had some sort of advantage.
they were born with a silver spoon or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Totally. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that really stuck with me.
Yeah, it makes you think.
It does. And another thing that he talks about that I thought was, like, super powerful is this whole concept of money as, like, fuel or energy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's such a cool metaphor.
Yeah. How does that change your perspective on money?
Like, I think a lot of times we think of money as, like, this thing that we have to save and hoard,
Mm-hmm.
but when you think of it as fuel, it's like this thing that can, like, propel us forward.
Yeah, you can use it to make things happen.
Exactly. Yeah. So how does that, like, fuel analogy tie into, like, the reverse narrative thing?
Well, I think what he's saying is, like, it's about being intentional
Okay.
with where we direct that energy.
Good.
So, like, if your goal is to start a business, then that fuel could be, like, allocated towards taking a course.
Oh,
Or building a website.
Okay.
Attending industry events.
Right.
Or even, like, hiring a coach.
Yeah.
And these are all things that, like, some people might see as luxuries, but they're really investments.
Yeah. If you're thinking about it in terms of, like,
Exactly.
your goals, right?
Totally.
It's a fuel for your goals.
Say sure.
And that makes me think about another point that he brought up. Like, this whole thing about predetermined goals.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
Yeah, he's like, you got to have a vision of what you want to achieve.
For sure.
And, like, make sure your spending aligns with that.
Yeah, like, otherwise you're just, like, throwing money at stuff.
Right, exactly.
And hoping for the best.
Hoping that something sticks.
Yeah. And that's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not. And it makes me think about, like, how do you, like, use that, like, predetermined goals thing?
Well, he suggests using, like, a system like SMART goals.
Okay.
Have you heard of those?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, so it's like
Remind me.
specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Oh, okay.
And so by, like, setting those clear goals,
Yeah.
it's like you're creating a roadmap for
Okay.
your financial journey.
So it's like, instead of just, like, wandering around aimlessly, you're like, okay, I have this destination. I have this map.
Oh, no.
I know how to get there.
And every dollar you spend is like a step towards that.
Towards that goal.
Yeah.
So would you say that, like, ties back into that reverse narrative thing?
Yeah, totally. Like,
Yeah.
you're identifying the things that other people aren't doing,
Right.
but that are going to accelerate you towards your goals.
Right. It's like thinking outside the box.
Yeah, exactly.
And not just following, like, the conventional financial advice that everyone's always talking about.
Everyone's like, save your pennies and...
Yeah, or, like, restrict yourself.
Yeah, deprive yourself.
And be miserable.
Right, exactly. And it's like, he's saying no, like...
Invest.
Spend.
Strategically
spend to achieve your goals.
Totally.
Yeah, so I think, like, the big takeaway here is that, like, spending wisely isn't just about, like, saving money or budgeting.
No, it's about aligning your financial energy with your goals.
And being willing to, like, invest in yourself.
And your future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just about managing money. It's about, like, actively directing it
Yeah.
towards the life you want to create.
Exactly.
So that kind of brings us to a final thought here
Okay.
for our listeners.
Yeah.
If money is energy,
Yeah.
what kind of energy are you putting out into the world?
That's a good question.
With your spending?
Yeah.
Are you investing in your growth?
Mm-hmm.
Are you fueling your dreams?
Yeah.
Or you're letting your money just kind of like dissipate on things that don't really matter?
Right.
I think that's something worth thinking about.
Definitely.
Yeah. And like, maybe take some time to like reflect on that.
Yeah, see where you can make some changes.
Yeah, see where you can like align your spending with the future you want.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's our deep dive for today.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Okay.